Hello, YouTube fans and friends, and welcome to a little something different once again. We're inside Cities Skylines, and my burgeoning colossal city, Rockwood, Louisiana. And you can see the rest of it after we zoom out, part we were zoomed in on. What I've come up with so far, what I feel is a fairly realistic, sprawling, colossal city within your vanilla, unmodded Cities Skylines version. And I think I cannot name a city building experience that I've had that I have enjoyed more than this one. I found that this city is at a place that's an interesting place both in the game and then also at a place where I felt it would be fun to show off what I've built for you. Big police response to something right here. I don't know what. Looks like we got a robbery or... I don't know. I guess he's off the case. This is over in West Rockwood. It's really grown into a burgeoning second city, you might say, out here on this western side of the river. Where we began was down around here, right off of this highway exit, and started from here, grew out. And one of the things that I wanted to jump right into was, again, kind of like what I did with Manor Lords, which is to help advocate, if you have the time, for what I call a no pause, no rush play style that can help give you results like what you see here, meaning at no point in the game did I push the pause button, not even to do actions. While I was planning, I was trying to pick the right times to plan when there were periods of prosperity and growth that were sustained. There are always times when you have to just maintain the city. I mean, this is one of these moments where I'm kind of having to do it as we speak here in our rural complex of communities, which I have named a bunch of different things. You've got Gemini Food Products and its neighboring environs, Ranch Platteville, Ranch Blythe, Ranch Wilder. Industry and agriculture are really the driving force behind Rockwood's economy. Industry here on the north side of town with Ponderant Chemical and North Rock Waste Management, a couple of major contributors to the workforce. Ponderant Chemical here just adding this massive waste processing complex. As I've mentioned in Manor Lords, what you really get a sense of in Cities Skylines is that managing garbage is one of the biggest tasks throughout the entirety of the game, as well as managing population sickness and population death. Over here is a place called Sanders Ponderant, basically created by two families that are associated with the Ponderant chemical plant across the river and in town, that created their own little town back here, basically a lot of workers for the Cypress Industrial Park businesses. You have West Rockwood that expands all the way down this shoreline right here. Sanders Ponderant, family, friends, associates, lawyers, and such all, and and friends of theirs who have the means, living in this lovely little private area on the southwestern shore waterfront. And then, of course, you have the busy and bustling downtown area with still some quaint living spaces tucked in. I decided intentionally to just leave some of those and not just go full bore on it. I figured in Louisiana there wouldn't be a total abandonment of your single-story home. Here we are in Fort Rockwood, on this side of kind of the major infrastructure, east-west split, dink, dink. Fort Rockwood over here, which is one of the first communities that I built in-game. Got a few high-rises. Man, I haven't really looked at Fort Rockwood close in a while. And I go with the default on most of what I do in-game, the default development style. There are moments where I've chosen things other than that. Like you come here to Wheeling, which this is meant to be cheap housing, right? And I've set this area, Wheeling, as a community that is likely to grow this way. And yeah, I'm afraid that the cheap housing is the community that ends up with the dirty side of the river. We're trying to clean that up. But again, this is a no pause, no rush playthrough. We let time do what time does. For instance, back here, I mean, we're just about done sucking oil from these areas. Just about, but not quite. So, where was that? There's a little spot right there. Let's go. I always like to try to make it look, kind of pretty. Like that. Like that. Let's go. Even when it just looks pretty, sometimes it's more efficient. You, sir, let's put you... Oh, that's right. Okay, so learning as we go here. We need to take this industrial area and we need to expand it down to here. Dean Oil Products. Dean Oil Products over here on the far eastern, northeastern edge of town. All right, we want to go ahead and axe these roads. We don't need them. And I'm doing dirt roads with money in mind. They're cheap. So you can use them and then lose them without losing your nut. All right, so again, that's that job done. Now, there's probably something else that I got to take care of. Here we go. Okay, what did I do? Oh, it was because I f***ed all this stuff up. All right, there we go. See, now Powers Hill. Because of the contractors working over there at Dean Oil Products, there was a nasty little power outage over here at Powers Hill, which is where many of the industry tycoons that are not involved with the Saunders or Sanders Ponderant families, the guys that are operating Powell Pro Movers, the City Waste Reserve, all of these ranches, big wigs, all live up here on Powers Hill, a lot of them. The North Rock Waste Management big wigs, the police big wigs, all of those folks as we get back to work on the town. And so, what else could I introduce you to? A little area that we had been very proud of, Gordes Royale. Kind of a nice little sleek future-looking district. Kind of tucked in here along or near the riverfront. Not too far from a couple of big river crossings. Looking over at West Rockwood. What a nice little neighborhood to live in here, right? Not too much traffic there yet. I go ahead and I leave the rain on too, by the way. So, all right, so Cities Skylines, vanilla basic right here, man, with infrastructure. It's a little silly. It's pretty damn unrealistic. And then what you have to do is understand that the AI is not going to treat it like realism. What they've done with Cities Skylines 2 pretty well is allow for you to like disallow right or left turns and stuff. So if an AI car comes up here and does what I think. So yeah, if one goes left like that one did right there, there's no way. That's supposed to be a ramp onto this road, right? Well, the in-game mechanics and the controls make it super not fluid, not organic, and more rigid when you're trying to place the roadway. It could go closer here, and tuck closely and then up into a nice ramp. But the game engine, the game mechanics, it doesn't allow that, really, the game controls. You have to like make it stick out weird like that and go up from there. So I kind of, in order to pay that back, you might say, I just kind of figure out where it's fine to have the AI taking left turns, where it's weird, and I just make the roads and the ramps and the one-ways and the two-ways and the highways work in this weird amalgamation of ramps and exits and entrances. And when I'm doing it in that kind of no pause aspect, again, you got to handle all this stuff in real time while traffic is moving, while business is being interrupted, right? While people's everyday routines are being interrupted, you've got to figure out how the hell is it that I'm going to make this. Here's another one. Over here, this was an absolute disaster before I decided, I guess without thinking about it sooner, to tunnel under the damn road or under the ground and create ramps and highway extensions that way. Ramp. And then beyond that, you've got one of our roads that starts on this side of the river. It's kind of a sneak for our bus system. Woo, right down into that tunnel right there. And as you can see, there's a bus picking up right over here on this side of the river, out this side of the tunnel, up Prospect, right on to Walker Street over here in, I believe this is Beaumont. My little treasure, the Merci Hospital Complex and its surrounds. We have the main hospital here. We have a senior care or child care center, I can't remember which, and then surrounding residential with a little bit of light mixed in with heavy high residential, high density, with a little bit of light mixed in with high density residential here. Neighboring Orchard Park, lot of residential with a little hip commercial district there. And otherwise, a whole bunch of kind of, I would say, probably, the young doctors, the young doctors' assistants, the medical chiefs, the students that are all working here. And then also a lot of the hip, techie, richer, the well-to-do youngsters that work here at Richland Woods in this advanced forestry area here. As a matter of fact, There was something I wanted to do with city planning here. I wanted to go ahead and give high-tech housing and Industry 4.0 to Richland Woods and see what they can do with it. As well as Green Energy Inc. Because they're upgraded like all the way. Their residences aren't, their commercials aren't, but we could do Small Business Enthusiast and Industry 4.0. Good. Also, let's have them mind their water usage and power usage. Right? Another thing, these are the tasks that just kind of like, they always pop up. You're always coming around and you're turning on and off the emptying of graveyards, landfills, graveyard, and waste transfer facilities like this one. You're just having to run around and pop those on and off on a fairly consistent basis. As you can see, death care around the city is suffering a bit. I've recently demolished a number of our 2 or 3 of our older cemeteries. I would say we need to stop emptying some of them. See, problems kind of just creep up. Let's stop emptying that one. Oh, this one's empty now. Bam. That's perfect. All right, so when you are emptying a cemetery or a crematorium or what have you, its hearses are not being used to transport bodies from homes and locations to the graveyards. So you can see, since we've been emptying a whole bunch of them, the service has gone south. And all across the city, we've got issues with dead people. These are issues that get dealt with, through the course of time. You really just try not to overreact to them. We were closing off too many of the cemeteries to access to the public. We might want to go ahead and build one, I would say. Right out here. Dink. Oh, and that actually brings up another point. Yeah, the death care issue lingers for now. And, okay, this is what the policy gave us, so we're not ready for the Industry 4.0 yet. Nope. Our workers aren't educated enough. And that just goes to show you, it's a commitment. Oh boy, we got a building on fire. Oh shit. Oh boy, this is a big one. Oh, this is a big one in West Rockwood. Oh man, one of the downtown businesses gets racked by fire. Oh my God, can the firefighters save it? Oh, it looks like they did. One of the downtown eateries. A new commercial center. All right, took care of that, no problem. So, you read the little tweets up here from time, the twerts or whatever the hell they're called in game. Noise pollution really is not that bad where people live. Now look, I'm just going to sit here and say that smart, common sense infrastructure planning will give you this result most of the time. Now, we're going to have folks who are upset here. Probably, here. Definitely out here. But that's just the price of living in those places, and if they continue living there, that's all we care about, right? Otherwise, nice quiet areas where people live, where people shop. And again, just, effective infrastructure planning. Now we'll move to public transit, of course, which I have plenty of here in Rockwood. We got our monorail running. We have a multitude of stuff, and it's very basic right now. I'm no expert, right? So I have what you'll see right off the bat that's kind of the most striking is the subway system that goes around the heaviest population centers and the downtown area in a circle. I have a number of rail transport centers that are mostly cargo for the industrial park here, for Beaumont, and this area. I have the metro rail stations or the monorail. Let's see the flashing line on the screen. You can see where the monorail goes. Around the city like that. Also, there is an option for those who want to travel up the populated side of the city, let's say, upriver, that goes up and down the river here. And you can see there are a number of stops along the way. You got a West Rockwood stop here. You have a kind of River Stanton extension stop right here. I have not yet put ferry stops up this side of the river, although one right here, close to Powers Hill, would probably make some level of sense. So you can see also, moving right along, I just purchased this tile here. That was planned. And I wanted to save that the best for last, which was this interchange here to connect the entire highway system that runs around the city and in the city, allowing a new point of access and egress over this way, access toward all of our different industries, of course, infrastructure, vitally important to any city. And then the new areas over here that I want to see grow, which I will begin planning now. So I'll bring a power line out this way for when they start setting up, and then from there it'll grow out the neighborhood, and I won't have to futz with it too much, at least I don't think. And I guess we'll come back and we'll see how that's doing. And so you can see now the death care issue is resolved. I think placing the new cemetery helped kind of balance everything back out. And then largely, when you get to this point in the game, this is kind of what I mentioned at the top of the video, you can really enter some interesting territory in how it is you're going to plan what it is that you want to do next, right? I mean, I've kind of done a lot of the different things that I was curious about doing in the game, but I want to keep the city growing, and I want to see, what it will become. This has all been a genuine, organic, no pause, no rush playthrough experience in city building. And I've come so far with it. I think I'm at over 200 hours on this city alone, I would say. In total, this is over a long period. Here you go. You got a little growth out here. I can't quite let it go, so of course I want to save it and keep the growth going. The plan for long term was going to be continue growing. This is the key. We need to hit 70,000, and the biggest thing is another square. 70,000 to get there, population. So we need growth, and I think that I want to do it on this side of the river, growing up this way. Dean Oil Products is going to run out of oil to pump here soon enough. They're going to have to relocate their offices this way. We could have more residential and maybe a little more, maybe another forestry area here. Give people places to work who live over here. Maybe another big office park somewhere over here. But a lot of regular residential, and then, really jam it up with, and as a matter of fact, it would start out real suburban looking, kind of like over here. So we'll probably stick to that for a while and see how much population that we get from that. And if we filled it up to the degree that I want with low-level, low-density housing and business, and it looks cool like a city would, like I've got everywhere else, but we're not near 70,000 yet, then I'm going to start kicking into gear where I develop Richland homes, and then I start, where it makes sense again, where it would make sense, I think, probably over here, adding some higher density commercial and residential, maybe over here, but definitely here, in this area. This is where I would start, frankly, would be the inner core of the downtown historic area of the city. Add more I've got tons of room for it. As you can see, the light green everywhere is area where I can still put high density residential. And so if I really want to blow the city up without growing out too much, I could probably just go ahead and do that. But that's not how I want to grow the city. That's not how I believe cities grow. So I'm going to try to be as true to life as possible and keep it going out this way. The idea will then be to grab this square or this square. I haven't decided yet to continue the oil business or to continue the agriculture and timber business. The oil and timber business or the agriculture and timber business out this way while the population center continues to grow down this way. I don't know how far I can get if I grow this thing past 70,000. 85. That's as high, I guess, as you can get in terms of getting gifted new acres, right? So I don't really know. I guess you really can only play this, and then it's done, and then you can't grow anymore, or this. So I would only have 2 more squares to pick from, possibly, but definitely this, and there you have it. Rockwood and the Colossal City, polluted a bit, dirty. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to mention. There's so much you can talk about with this game. So many details, right? the game kind of forces you when you're just trying to do a raw. And by the way, I did play on the hard setting where you only start with 70,000 cash. Coffee. But when you're playing and you don't have, unlimited credits to just do whatever you want and create your little dream clean city, you've got to play with what the game gives you, and it gives you dirty industry early on. And so that's kind of what you have to work with. And I'm kind of in that middle stage now where maybe some of this industry can be improved to cleaner industry as time goes on, but we're just not there yet. We're just not there yet. Can't do it. These are too vital. These industrial areas here are just too vital to the survival of the city. They're an institution now. Changing them, even in game, would come at a real cost to the whole operation around them. So it would take a lot of heavy lifting for me to want to actually do it. It would take a lot of heavy lifting to do it in real life. And so we kind of try to treat things with that respect. I think another way that I would relay, I changed the way that I play for Cities Skylines that may be different from the way that many people play, is that if I'm going to add something, I try not to take something away. If I've already made a decision and somebody has popped up there, I try not to just come through and bowl them over to build a new road or a new monorail or whatever. But admittedly, as is true in life, that sort of thing is required from time to time to complete infrastructure, get public transit in order. And so I did that whenever I absolutely had no other choice, no other route for things, right? And we'll continue building out Rockwood, but I've been having a whole lot of fun with it. Cities Skylines, vanilla style. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please, if you like the content, hit that thumbs up button. That helps the channel. Of course, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to find out when I drop the next video. And leave a comment to let me know what you think should be the direction for Rockwood in the future. I'm BankSixdeis. See you on the next one.